Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. My name is Dzaky Muhammad Arvi from Class J. So today I'm going to do a presentation for Introduction to Sociology, which is Taliban as a social group. Before we move on, I'm going to talk about the content of today's presentation, which is the social context, leadership, value system, true believer, daily activities, and also cultural expression of the Taliban groups. And then let's move on to the social context. The Taliban was founded in the early 90s by the Muslim guerrilla fighters, and also it is supported by the Soviet occupation of Afghanistan at the time, which is the 1979 and 8 to 10 years later, with the covert backing of the CIA and its Pakistani counterpart ISI, which is the International Intelligence Agency Board. The Taliban fight because they have a promise to restore peace, security, and enforce their own austere version of Sharia or Islamic law once they are in power. They were joined by younger Pashtun tribesmen. Pashtun comprise a plurality in Afghanistan and square measure the predominant group in abundant of the country's south and east. They are additionally a significant group in Pakistan north and west. The leaders of Pakistan consist of five people, but today I'm going to talk about only the founder and the co-founder. The founder, Muhammad Omar, was born into a poor family with no political connection whatsoever. Omar graduated from Darul Uloom Haqqaniya in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Pakistan. He joined the Afghan Mujahideen in the war against the land and also the Communist Democratic Republic of Asian Nation. He supported the Taliban movement in 1994 and by a year later had captured a lot of southern and western Afghanistan. The co-founder Abdul Ghani Bardar was born in 1968 within the Witmak village, Dehrahwood district in Orzugan province, Afghanistan. He is a Durrani Pashtun of the Popazai tribe. He fought throughout the 1980s with the Soviet-Afghan War in Kandahar, mainly within the Panjshir area, and served within the Afghan force against the Soviet-backed Afghan government. Reason both are chosen because they are fought for their freedom of the region, but in different contexts because Muhammad Omar was started from nobody, and then Abdul Ghani Bardar was the Pashtun of the scene of the Pashtun of the area. And then the value system of the Taliban is the intention of this group was to restore a minimum of peace and the security of ordinary people like Muhammad Omar, which blocked the country since the Soviet withdrawal from Afghanistan and the collapse of the Afghan communist regime in 1992. The Taliban goals of restoring their Islamic emirate and implement Sharia law was expelling all foreign military forces from Afghanistan. So basically what they want is to implement those laws without the external factor from other countries. And then let's move on to the true believers of Taliban itself. The Taliban followers and believers are consist mostly of Afghanistan people. They either join the movement with their own will to fight or forced to join the movement. We're going to talk about that later. And the initial backbone of the Taliban were young Afghan, like normal people, and primarily Pashtun, like the co-founder. And the Pashtun received their religious education in madrasas, or in Indonesia we know it as madrasah, namely religious school and seminars located in Pakistan and financed mostly from donors in Gulf and Arab countries. The daily activities of the Taliban is very, very secluded. We only found a bit of their daily activities. Taliban do a lot of stuff like conquering land to establish their dominance. And basically, when they conquering their land, they're going to open a little by little those village in the edge, and they're going to recruit new members from the local area to expand their movement. So there's either they forced it, or there's like people that already want to join their uh, movements. And what they do is basically attacking political rallies and deterring people from participating in the presidential election in Afghan. So basically, they don't want the power to overturn against them. So it's going to be easier to rule the people over because we're going to talk about the cultural expression of the Taliban. The Taliban itself is translate as student, and conjointly the Taliban conjointly introduced and supported Muslim punishment, for example, like public execution of guilty murderers and adulterers, and amputation for those who found guilty of felony. So basically, if you caught stealing something, and you're going to get amputated in front of everybody. And it is mandatory for men to grow beards and ladies to wear the all covering garment, which is we talk about that in the third point. And the Taliban bans television, music, and cinema art altogether and rejected of women aged 10 and over reaching to college. What I mean by all covering garment, because they support the ultra conservative choice of clothing for both male and female followers, because the army themselves, they have a different clothing from the usual army group. They have this style of like muslim wear, but with the rugged look of the army fabric material. And also they wear uh, clothes strictly according to the Quran. So like they don't wear full dragging pants. It's because they believe that it's gonna get dirty. And then women, even though they are fighting in the middle of a desert, they always put a cover on their face. They still cover like all covering garment. And then men, they always wear their head wraps no matter where they go. So basically, their um, their group was fairly easy to identify. So what you see in the movies is somewhere near accurate, like what they're going to look like. And then that's all for me. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.